Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, and in this week's Tarot Tips and Tricks, I'm going to be talking about what if what you see in the cards is wrong. So this comes about when you've done a spread, you've asked a question of the cards, or you've done a reading for a client, and what you've predicted of what you've seen in the cards doesn't happen. Something completely different happens. So why does this happen? So when this happens, it can really give you a knock to your confidence, particularly when you are a new tarot reader, and there is nothing worse. But I suppose the best way to explain as why this actually happens is, for one thing, sometimes you're not concentrating, and that can be a big factor in that. You're not concentrating, you've got a lot of different thoughts going on in your head, and the cards actually pick that up. So when you're laying them out, they're a little bit all over the shot, okay, because your emotions are all over the shot. Sometimes you don't ask the right question, so you don't phrase it properly. And a good tip is that when you are actually new to the tarot and thinking of a question to ask of the tarot, sometimes shuffling and thinking of a question to ask can be quite confusing when you're very new to it. So the best thing to do is, when you are very new to the tarot, is actually write the question down. And while you're shuffling the cards, read what you've written. And that way you will get a clear and concise answer to your question. So that can be another thing. And another reason is that, as we all know, the future is not written in stone. So the slightest change to things will affect the outcome of your reading. So I liken this to as when a spider puts that first little creepy leg on its web, and it changes the whole dynamic of the web. So the web will vibrate just from putting that one foot on. He brings his other foot on, it changes the dynamic again, and so on until he's right in the middle of it. So the very slightest change will affect the outcome of the reading. So it could be yourself, and I'm talking about, it could happen within 5 to 10 minutes, half an hour, day, night, afternoon, or whatever, and something can change that will affect the outcome of your reading. So don't let this knock your confidence, okay? And sometimes too, particularly if you're reading for clients, they lie. They lie because they want to trip you up, all right? So you will do a reading, and what you've seen is correct, but they haven't been truthful with you. But you're only reading what they have told you about. So you're answering their concerns that they've let you know, but they've been holding back. They've been lying to you, and they do it all the time because they want to see how good you are and if they can trip you up, yada, yada, yada. But really, they're only doing themselves a disservice. If you can give your tarot reader clear, concise questions to what you really want to know, instead of trying to trip them up, you're going to get your money's worth, aren't you? You're going to get what you paid for. You're going to get a very, you should get a very empathetic, concise reading, not one that's all over the shot. And that can happen, And there is nothing wrong with actually rephrasing the question as well. So you can rephrase the question. So you might have asked something, you get a lot of gobbledygook. There's nothing wrong with scooping back up the cards and giving them a good shuffle and concentrating on your question with more, just being more direct when you're actually asking the question, okay? Because if you are, say you're afraid to know the answer to something, so you whitewash the question. So you might want to know if your boyfriend's cheating on you, for instance. But instead of just asking, is Larry cheating on me? You might ask something like along the lines of, now let me think, now I'm going to have to think of something. Has Larry ever cheated on his ex-girlfriends in the past? Okay. And then you do a reading on that, and then you see that that he has cheated on his ex-girlfriends in the past, and this gets you wild because you think, look, damn it, I'm sure he's cheated on me, type of thing, So if you really want to know if your boyfriend's cheated on you, ask the question. Just say, has Larry cheated on me? Ask the question, okay? Don't whitewash the questions. And this is what you'll find when you do professional readings that a lot of clients will do. They're afraid to actually ask what they want to know, so they'll do this type of wishy-washy question, or they might even just type in one word like love, for instance, and they'll expect you to know that if they're going through a divorce, they are divorced, they've just gotten married, or they've just broken up with something. There's lots of different aspects to what can happen with that one word love, isn't there? So this is what I mean. So don't let it knock your confidence, because what you have seen in the cards is right at that particular time when you were doing the reading. It's just that things change so minutely sometimes that you don't even know about it, and that's why your readings don't turn out the way that you thought they would, because something has changed. And sometimes things will change that you don't even know about, all right? So, it could be the other person that you're asking about who's changed something in their path that has affected the reading. If it's a situation, then something else has changed in the situation. There's so many things that can change the outcome of a tarot reading or a Lenormand reading. I think it's more in a tarot than Lenormand. Lenormand is a different type of deck, hey? It's kind of uncanny at the things that will pick up. But not saying that tarot is not, but I'm just saying my experiences with Lenormand has been quite amazing. So don't let it knock your confidence as a reader. This happens to the best of us, and just keep on going. You can keep a journal, so you can act. And I used to do this when I first started to read. I would write down the question religiously and shuffle the cards, and I'd put all the spread positions down and what card came up where, and I'd write it all down. And then I realised that wasn't actually for me, because every time I looked at the damn thing again, I would see something different. Because I'm a pictorial reader, so every single time that I would look at something that I've done, I would see something different in it, and a different again and again and again, and it would drive me nuts. So I stopped journaling I think I've probably only done it 6 months out of the 28 years that I've been reading. I just don't write my readings down, because I just can't. Because I see things differently all the time. But that's not to say that it won't help you. So if you feel like that will help you to write it down and to journal, and there's some beautiful journals out there. Some people are so creative, but I'm hopeless. I've got terrible writing. I think even a doctor would have difficulty understanding my writing. I'm not artistic in any way, so I just, for me, if I look at something I've written down, I think it looks hideous, so I won't do it. But if it works for you, then do it. Then write it down. So I suppose it's going to be a quick video, this one, because really that's about the crux of it. You see things in your reading that don't come true. There's a reason for it. It's only because some type of dynamic has changed and it's affected the outcome. And I suppose the biggest message that I wanted to get across was not to let it knock your confidence as a reader, because we've all done it. We've all made mistakes. We've all haven't concentrated, or the person that you're reading about has lied to you. So of course the reading's not going to be right, is it, if they're not telling you the truth? So just don't let it knock your confidence. And then this brings me to the next subject, is how does tarot exactly work? We all think about that. We all ask ourselves this question when we first decide to, or come across the tarot and decide to buy a deck and start using it. Who is it that speaks to us through the tarot? Is it your higher self? Is it the gods, the goddesses? Is it your angels? Is it your spiritual guides? Is it your Jesus, whoever your belief system in? Who is it that speaks to you through the cards? It's a really interesting question, and one that I suggest that you actually ask the cards themselves and see what the cards come about. So I've got the Light Seers deck sitting here right next to me. So for myself, I suppose I feel that my I don't know. I know sometimes it is my guides that come through with the messages for me. And I do spirit message, so I do get messages from spirit. But as to who speaks to me through the cards, let's actually ask the question. So who speaks to me through the tarot cards? And let's see what comes up. I've got what card that come up straight away. Oh, this is very interesting. I keep getting this card. Hey, this is Strength. And I've shuffled this deck quite a lot. So who speaks to me through the cards? I've got Strength. And then You can also ask, if you want to be a bit more precise, you can actually ask, who am I speaking to when I consult the cards? So who am I speaking to when I consult the cards? Let's have a look. This one come right up straight away. Very interesting. And I got the 8 of Swords. So 2 very, very different cards. So this one I said, who speaks to me through the cards? And I've got Strength. What I'm struck about this the most is how it's half animal and how it's half humans, or half lion, I should say, isn't it? Because I do get a lot of messages from animals that have passed away, that have crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. Not only from my pets, but from other people's pets that I've done readings for. And they come about very spontaneously. They come about through my crystal scryings. I come into my readings, my spirit messages. I get a lot of animals that actually come through the cards. So that's actually quite perfect for me. So this is the one about who speaks to me through the cards, and it's the spirits of animals that have crossed over. I get that a lot, and I love the way it's got a heart. It is a heart, isn't it? Yep, a heart on the chain. I have a lot of messages from my cat. I've had a lot of messages from my dog, Oscar, who recently passed in October last year, and for a lot of other people. So this is actually perfect. But I also get spirit messages too. So the other half is very clear as well. So for me, who speaks through the cards for me is human spirits and also animal spirits. And even having the card, the strength of it is because when I do messages of the spirit side of things, so spirit messages, whether it be animal or human, it always gives the recipient such strength to go on, to know that they are all right, to know that their beloved pet is with someone that they love, that they are fine, that they are okay. It really, really, it's beautiful when that happens, and it really, and because I'm getting emotional now, but it just brings such peace to people when I can bring a spirit message across, whether it's a beloved pet or a beloved family or friend member, just a loved one. So that's absolutely perfect. And then it's got who am I speaking to when I consult the cards? And this is interesting to get the 8 of Swords, isn't it? Because it's the same person, but the mirror image is where she's all tied up, lots of crows flying around her. And then the other one, she's just, and I just want to have a look, she's just sitting in front of the mirror, but she's kind of got her hands up like that. So what this tells me is that sometimes 2 very different sides of yourself speak to you through the cards, or at least this is for me. So 2 very different sides of myself speak through the cards. Sometimes the messages are loud and clear, and at other times, like this tied up one, I've really got to fight for it. I've really got to look hard at what the message is trying to, what the cards are trying to tell me. So this card is telling me that when I consult that, who am I speaking to when I consult the cards is the 2 different sides of myself. So I've got the higher self, I've got the free-flowing myself, the one that it's, when I read the cards and everything just comes together beautifully. And then I've got the other side where I've really got to fight to find the message. And this happens a lot, well, not a lot, but it happens a fair bit when I read for clients. And sometimes they're a little bit, even though I only do email readings, they can sort of close themselves off, and I've really got to search for the answers that they're seeking for, and that actually highlights it beautifully, that particular card, the 8 of Swords. It really, really does, because what I'm doing is I'm fighting for them. I'm fighting to free them so that they can truly see what it is that they need to see and the message that they need to hear. So there you go, 2 very different cards about who is speaking to me through the tarot, and also who am I speaking to when I consult the cards. So they're 2 different questions, but they're the same, aren't they? So the first one was who speaks to me through the cards. I got Strength, and the second one was who am I speaking to when I consult the cards. So I've got 2 very, very different messages there, but they made absolute perfect sense to me, and I really recommend everybody out there to actually ask the cards of that. I mean, you can do I just pulled 1 card, but you can do a 3-card spread, or however many cards that you want to pull, so you can actually get an idea of of who comes through the cards for you, you know. And you will know, like I do know when it's my guides coming through as well. So actually, why don't we even ask that? So let's just ask, what card best represents my spiritual guide? Oh, that one popped up straight away. And this, oh wow, this is really amazing. The Nine of Swords. What card best represents my spiritual guides? So I feel, as you all know, I've been talking a lot about my depression lately, but I feel that my spiritual guides are very much ones that have felt that when they're alive on earth, that they suffered from depression. And that's why they are my guides, because they suffered from the same thing that I have done. And I like the white crow up there. They found their light. But you know, we don't know, do you? They could have committed suicide as well. Who knows, really? There's a lot of dark crows around there, isn't there? But that's very powerful to me. That's a very powerful image. And actually, I have been having trouble sleeping a lot. I'm just constantly waking up all throughout the night. So that's very, very powerful. So that's the card that best represents my spiritual guides. So obviously they have been through some shit as well, and that's why they are my guides, because I've been through I've obviously gone through the same thing. It's not just depression as well. It's going through an abusive marriage, finding my happy ever after as well. There's lots of different aspects to this card and different aspects of my life that these spiritual guides have come through. And just out of interest, how many crows are there? There's actual 9 there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there is actually 9. I'm just wondering if it was. So that's really, really interesting. So you can ask, don't be afraid to ask your cards different types of things. Truly don't. I mean, that's a really wonderful exercise to try to find out who just it is. And ask both versions of the questions. So I'll put that in the description box. And ask both versions of the questions and let me know what you got and how you went. I'd love it if people would actually do a VR to this particular question, because it's very, very interesting. And and try, actually, you know what? Let's try the Lenormand, because the Lenormand's a very different type of a deck. So so who speaks to me through the cards? And this is the Lenormand one. Let's have a look. Who speaks to me through these cards? One peeking up here. The Mountain. The Mountain. You know what I thought as soon as I saw that? I got I got an image of a Buddhist monk sitting cross-legged, meditating. That's what I got as soon as I saw that. That's what's in my head. Now the Mountain in Lenormand can represent obstacles to overcome as well, So this is kind of interesting that I get this one as well, because I've got the 9 of Swords, I've got the 8 of Swords there, but pretty much, yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's more the 9 of Swords, isn't it? But the Mountain, yeah. So, but as soon as I hold that up, I keep seeing this monk. Meditating monk, which is very, very interesting. And this is for the one is who speaks to me through the cards. So it looks like I have someone up there that is who may have been a monk and who comes through to me. I can meditate really, really easily, but I don't do it, and I know I need to do it more. So maybe that's an actual sign there for me to actually pay attention. And yeah, the Himalayas have just come into my mind as well when I look at this. And I'm very drawn to, there's lots of red, almost like blood at the front there. And Tibet actually just come into my mind. And I know there was a lot of bloodshed there. That's very interesting to come through. So, well, there you go. The Mountain. So it's probably a message that I do need to, but that's very interesting. Let's ask the second question. Who am I speaking to when I consult the cards? Who am I speaking to when I consult the cards? Oh no, I've got the Road. The Road. So this tells me that I'm speaking to people who have been on the same path that I have, who have travelled down the same road that I have. That's who I speak to when I consult the cards. So as you can see, you can ask these questions with any type of deck. A Lenormand, a tarot, even ask it with an oracle card, and let the cards speak to you. Whatever pops into your mind. And that was a good example there, because as soon as I saw that mountain, I saw a monk that was meditating. You know, the crossed legs with the like hands like that. You know, I don't meditate like that. I just sit in this chair and sit in front of my altar, and I just, you know, really kick back and relax. But that's what popped into my mind, so I know that's correct for me, and that's what you've got to do when you start reading the tarot or the Norman, whatever it is that you want to read, the oracle, whatever pops into your head first is the right message. Don't second guess it. All right, so I'm going to leave it at there, because I can't really think of anything else to say. So this is a very short tarot tips and tricks, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and until next time, this is Tracy.